Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst, Deputy Managing Director, Great Malabite, Emmanuel Ifene.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning.
Good morning, Rufai.
Good morning, DMD.
Good morning, Adesua.
Good morning.
Queen of the screen. Yes. Let's start the review with this day. Nigeria's newspaper of records. The lead story, PDP governors. Free, fair, credible elections not negotiable in 2023. Reject proposed direct primaries in electoral bill. Yes, the PDP governors rising from that meeting of PDP Governors Forum in Bauchi yesterday, in their communique, made this declaration. And I think this is one view that we can safely say is the view of majority of Nigerians, that 2023 elections has to be free, fair, and credible. And everything should be done to achieve that. And that includes ensuring that there is electronic transmission of results, as well as deployment of other technology. They also went ahead to say that the attempt to enforce the mode of picking candidate, in this case, direct primary, in the electoral bill being considered, is also not acceptable to them. Because, of course, there are other options. I don't know what has happened, that the bill will now ensure that we only have one mode, because there is direct primaries, there is consensus, and of course there's indirect primaries. These are options that I believe political parties should be allowed to have the leeway to choose whichever option that suits them at any particular time. But also, the governors the PDP governors are also condemning what they call turning Aso Villa into the headquarters of the APC, where governors who have defected from the opposition party to the ruling party are presented. Well, they've made their case known, and other papers are also reporting this story. The Punch newspaper reporting this story, PDP governors, APC clash, Forum carpets federal government over killings, massive rigging plots. Opposition governors rebuke Buhari regime, allege incompetence, stifling economy. PDP, a failed party, sinking governors, communicates tissues of lies, says the All Progressive Congress. Now, other stories quickly. The Daily Sun newspaper. Controversy trails Kanu Igboho trials. DSS failed to produce IPOB leader in Abuja, cites logistics challenge as court adjourns to October 21. We fear he may be killed, pro-Biafra group. Pro-Yoruba agitator also not brought to open court in Cotonou. I have rallied 10 Benin Republic monarchs to secure Igboho's freedom. Gani Adams. Now, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper also reporting from Abuja and Cotonou, supporters, Obas throng Cotonou court as Igboho's trial holds behind closed door. Gani Adams rallies Benin monarchs, Afenifere lords, Olubadan, Oni, while the Guardian newspaper, Kanu's absence forces 3 months delay, court deters on Igboho's fate. Amid heavy security, DSS blames Kanu's absence on logistic difficulty. IPOB leader drags Nigeria, Kenya to African Rights Commission. 6 return to UK. IPOB to DSS. Produce Kanu to prove he is not dead. Commercial activities grounded in Onitsha, Nnewi for trial. Police disperse supporters as Igboho's trial resumes behind closed doors in Cotonou. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, the same lead story, secession, Kanu remain in DSS custody as Igboho's fate hangs. IPOB leader absent as court adjourns to October 21. News Direct newspaper, the same story, separatist agitation. Confusion over Kanu's absence in court, Igboho's fate on extradition unknown. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, Nnamdi Kanu's whereabouts, safety in doubt, lawyer, says he has not seen him in 10 days. Federal government against Kanu's transfer out of DSS custody. Fails to arraign him in court. Arraigns him, court adjourns to October 21. Now, above the masthead of the Daily Independent, there's also a story there. Yoruba monarchs in Benin Republic agree to help Sunday Igboho to write the West African country's president. Meet government officials. Gani Adams says he is uncomfortable with federal government's handling of case. The New Telegraph newspaper, Kanu Igboho trials, IPOB grounds Anambra as federal government fails to produce Kanu in court. The Nation newspaper, police chase away Igboho's men from Benonua court. Judge sends agitator back to custody. Now, below that, judge orders Kanu to remain in DSS custody. The Daily Champion newspaper, trial of Nnamdi Kanu, Ohaneze Ndigbo cautions federal government not to harass IPOB sympathizers in court. Urges IPOB members to shun protests. NAF bombing ESN operative in Enugu forest. IPOB alleges. Be wary of propaganda against military. Nwachukwu. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, Igboho, federal government, Beninese lawyers battle over extradition in court. Now, to other stories, Insecurity, the leadership newspaper, bandits go berserk, kidnap 60 in Zamfara, monarch in Kaduna, kill 2, abducts 2 soldiers in Borno, 2 others in Yobe. Parents of abducted Islamia pupils in a fix over new ransom courier. Police, GSS, keep mum over collection of ransom through banks. We need to hear from there. Now, the Business Day newspaper, 5 areas Nigeria gas is in demand amid energy transition. Of course, analysts at Citibank say that natural gas is an energy source that could be part of the energy transition. The report identifies 5 key demand areas where the proposition for natural gas is strong and could give it an edge as transitional. Of course, it includes using it as smaller footprint to provide power generation in urban areas and as a bunked fuel to help reduce emission in shipping, as well as lower emission fuel for urban transportation, amongst others. Now, the foreign newspapers, quickly, the Times of UK, no, let's start with the Independent newspaper of UK, the Independent newspaper. Yes, strain on hospitals now equal to peak of COVID. NHS chiefs warn health service buckling even as cases drop. Yes, for the 6th day in a row, there's drop in the number of infections and hospitalization. But health officials are warning that what they are seeing in the hospitals have been, the health service, I take that again, the health service is under similar level of pressure. Yes, that's what they're warning, that right now the health services, they are under similar level of pressure as during the height of the pandemic in January. As many as 5,000, yes, COVID patients rising to more than 5,000 in England for the first time since march. Yes, it's not Uhuru yet, not yet freedom as they declare. Now, the Times of UK, Prime Minister gets off on burglars. Yes, the Prime Minister coming out of quarantine today will unveil a package to deal with crime and criminality in the UK. And part of that is a crime fighting plan extend the use of tag, stop and search, and street cleaning for offenders. Yes, any person who have done time, who have served more than 1 year, upon its release will have a GPS tag. Yes, GPS tag to him to monitor his movement. And also, they will be made to perform public work for free, unpaid public work, as a way of publicly and visibly making them to pay for their crimes. So today, Boris Johnson will unveil these measures to deal with crime and criminality in the UK, especially burglary and stealing. Now, the New York Times newspaper, New York Times, yes, two key cities, two key regions give workers a choice. Either you vaccine or you test. You don't have any option beyond those two. Either you take the vaccine or you will be doing the test every day. This is to beat the coronavirus spread that is rising in both New York City and in California. So Ruben, Rufai, and Adesua.
I mean, there's a story there that I'd like to double click on. That's the story of security agents, keeping mum about bandits, criminals, kidnappers, whatever they're called, terrorists.
The leadership newspaper. The leadership newspaper.
Collecting money through the bank account. I thought they would have swapped into action. I mean, we all saw how some people were so quick to stop the account of NSAS protesters. So why can't we close the account of bandits, terrorists, collecting ransom money via the banks? But I want the security agents to investigate quickly.
We are waiting.
And let them react to that. They need to react to that. They owe us a responsibility to react to that. We've seen how they've closed people's accounts in this country.
Well, for me, I just want to talk about the front page of this day, the lead story there about PDP governors. I think they took quite their time to respond to this. I hope it's not too late. I found some of their findings interesting, such as the governors that are defecting to the ruling APC are being forced to do so because they are trying to avoid persecution for corrupt practices.
Emmanuel Efene.
Yes.
Two key stories. The first one, still on the front page of this day. Federal government orders activation of COVID-19 isolation centers nationwide. Now, that story tells us that 10 persons have tested positive for the Delta variant in Lagos and also in Abuja. I think it is not enough to just say states should activate COVID-19 isolation centers. The government needs to be more upfront in terms of what the Nigerian government is doing with regard to, when is the next phase of vaccination going to start? What do we have beyond the donation by the Chinese of 470,000? Are we just, waiting on charity for us to be able to fight this pandemic? Because that is what it looks like. And I hope that the Nigerian government is also aware that the mismanagement of the COVID pandemic could cause political crisis, could affect stability in the country, as we have seen in the specific case of Tunisia, also here in Africa. We've been told people should observe quarantine rules and all of that. These statements look like rhetorical statements. I mean, if the Nigerian government, as we were told a few weeks ago, had identified about 5-6 states that are emerging as epicenters, why not just shut down those states? In New York now, new rules have been passed about people who will not be allowed to go to work if they don't use the mask, if they don't take the jab. The same rule has been imposed in California. And that's in a country where they have had a vaccination rate of over 50% for the 2 jabs and over 40% for 1 jab. Here in Nigeria, we have been able to vaccinate only 0.6% of the population. We're not doing very well. Yes, I see the minister comes on television. Kwazu of the NCDC comes on television. The gentleman who is in charge of the Primary Health Care Development Agency comes on television. Faisal Shaibu, that's his name. Yeah, but look, it's not media appearance that we need. We need concrete effort. And I may be wrong. Some other people may contradict me, but that is my opinion. We're not doing enough.
Ruben, you are absolutely correct. We're not doing enough.
Thank you.
You're absolutely correct.
The other issue I would like to draw your attention to is this global public education summit that will take place in the UK.
In the UK, yeah.
And our president is there, the Kenyan president is there, everybody is there. But the big issue is, look, I made a point earlier. In this country, we've been talking about education since 1955, when the Western region introduced universal free education, or free education, as it is known. Now, here, in 2021, we have not done enough. The out-of-school children population is still very high.
1 in 5 out-of-school children in the world.
The United Kingdom should be commended. You know, they've been at the forefront of this. I know that when they brought the Safe School Initiative, it was Gordon Brown, Prince Nduka Obagbena, Okonjo-Iweala, and President Jonathan, who led that process. But how much progress have we made? We've not been able to make it with regard to Safe School Initiative.
So the schools are less secure now than when that initiative was made.
So we have issues of security, we have issues of funding. So President Buhari going to London, I know he has medical issues. We're told that he needs to attend to. He wants to meet with Boris Johnson. But look, this is not just about going on a trip. We need to see concrete effort in terms of what we're doing to increase school enrollment, to increase girl-child representation within the school system, and to ensure that the schools are safe. The Nigerian government, the Buhari government, as part of its legacy projections, should be thinking of, okay, after Buhari, Nigerian schools should be safer than they made them.
You are talking of safer? They should be safe first. They should be safe, because in Kaduna now, El-Rufai has shut down schools because no school is safe in Kaduna. And many parents are now afraid to send their children to school so that you don't sorrow and sell all your property to retrieve your child from bandits' den. So this is the situation. It is that bad, Ruben. It is that bad. So going to the UK, well, let's see what will come out of that Georgia. It's Georgia. They're going there to talk. And let's hope when the president returns, there will be some concrete action to ameliorate the situation. Yeah. What we need now is for the president to ameliorate the situation, not even getting better than when Gordon Bank and others launched the Safe School Initiative, because the situation at that time was not this bad. Ruben, you will agree. I know you are trying to be modest because you were in that government. The situation under Jonathan was not this bad. Schools were not so widespread when you talk of insecurity. But today, across the Northwest, sending your child to the school, whether tertiary, secondary, or Islamic school, you know is risk you are taking. But children must be educated, so it is the responsibility of the government to provide that safe environment for children to learn.
Well, Emmanuel Efeni, you cannot be more correct in Professor Akintenewa's voice. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow morning.